After 9 weeks of racing, we arrived to the final night of racing, and everything is up for grab. And when I say everything, I mean it. So what a better place is there than for a finale? Then they come to the home of the British motorsports. That's right, tonight, the Race Anywhere World Series reaches its climax here at Silverstone, live on Absolute Sim Racing. Good evening, everyone. My name is Craig King, and with me, as per usual, on the microphone and cameras is Daniel Hanover. Tonight, we finally reached the finale. I could do my usual pre-race amble of the history of this 73-year-old track. I could tell you how this 5.9 kilometer, 18-ton track has seen everything over the years. Instead, I'm going to tell you what's up for grabs, because everything but one title is up for grabs tonight. That's right, only the amateur title has been decided. Elsewhere, though, it's all up for grabs. 50 points between first and third in Pro-Am, and the chaotic scenario in Pro, where 5 points separate the top two. And when we look back, if there's a tiebreaker, get ready to scratch your head, because I've looked at all the permutations. I cannot see a tiebreaker that will separate these two. It's gonna be hard to get over this. We'll do our best. Daniel, we're at the end. Everything to play for. One question: who's going to win it all?
Well, we simply... That's a question and a half, isn't it? Something that we really don't know. Yes, good evening, everyone. I do apologise in advance. Actually, not feeling particularly brilliant. So if I do have a moment of quiet, then I will be going to probably have a sneezing fit or something like that. So, yes. Like I said, there are so many different ways that this can go. I think it's going to be something that we're not going to really know, are we? We can make good assumptions, we can make good guesstimates, but really until that checkered flag drops, we really don't know how it's going to play out.
It is, like I said, it is all to play for. And the amateurs are out at the moment. They are starting their qualifying. And I'll give you a rundown of the scenarios, because while Taylor Stauhag has won the championship, he's on 750 points. Frederick Droy is on 645. Cannot be caught. The rest of the championship is up for grabs for that podium, because what you're saying, Frederick Droy, 645 points. Now look at this for a chaotic scenario. Dean Timms, Johan Assen, both on 585 in joint third. Henning Haig, Werner S., Addison Manguera, all together on 575. And Simon Dodd is on the outside looking in on 565. That's right, between third and seventh, there is 20 points between them. And even more, if Frederick Droy slips up, any of these drivers have a chance to actually come P2. So while there is third place up for grabs for a lot of people, P2 still isn't decided. So it is going to be very close out there tonight. The amateurs will always want to keep our eyes on, mainly due to the nature of the driving. And it looks like that Werner S is going to be the first one to be out there. So it's going to be interesting to see Werner S, Taylor Stauhag, there's Edison Manguera as well. He's getting ready to do his laps. He's going to be about the fifth one over the line. It promises to be fun, Silverstone. It's always a challenge in GT cars, I find. Maggott and Beckett is one of those where you've really got to get it right in these cars. When you're on a high downforce car, you are able to take those corners really fast. But with these cars, you've really got to be careful. Yes, you can take the corners a little bit easier and you can munch the curbs, but you just don't have that grip, and you've got to be careful not to spin the car.
Yeah, it's a fair point there. You know, these GT3 cars, they do have downforce. Obviously, they've got a fairly big front split. They've got diffusers. They've got big wings that you can see there. But yeah, they don't have the downforce that you would find with a normal high downforce LMP2 or even any Formula car, Formula 4 and the like. So yeah, you do have to treat these cars with a little bit of respect sometimes as well. Silverstone's a good track for them, though. It's fairly open. It has got some slow speed sections, obviously Club and Vale being one of them, down into the new down into turn 4. That's obviously quite a tight sort of complex of corners. The new turns 3 and turn 4 subsequently. But generally, we are seeing that Silverstone is a very big open track. It is a long track as well. There's good opportunities for slipstreaming. There's an opportunity for slipstreaming, opportunity for fuel saving as well. So a bit of different strategy there. And then we've also got as well, tactics that are going to be played both on and off the circuit. You might find people that are going to be quite aggressive, other people that might not be as aggressive. there's lots. Silverstone really throws up opportunities for lots of different ways to approach a race. You don't simply have to drive as fast as you can, absolutely flat out. You have got a bit of option.
Yeah, Wellington, Hangar Straight, two big places where you'll be seeing a lot of lifting and coasting, a little bit of braking. There is the graphics at the moment. We're just making sure that you can just see everything getting ready. The first amateur is coming across the line. It's going to be Werner S. will set the first lap. 1:59.966. Kind of the times we'll be seeing a Sauerhaug. The championship, well, the champion, 1:59.170, already setting that time. Kind of a little bit faster than what he's been doing in practice. They're the times we'll be seeing all around. I think may see some of them dip into the 58s, maybe in the pros, maybe the pro-ams. You can just see these times going by. Edison Manguera now coming across the line. Sets a 2:01.028. So Sauerhaug already setting the pace with a blistering that time. That is exactly as it says. That's not a typo. That is 3/10 faster than anyone else out there at the moment. Showing his pace once again. Lapsian, he's unable to get anything going on the first lap. Should mention, when Frederick Roy comes across the line, it is 21 Celsius, 70 Fahrenheit. The cold, it is a cold December's day in Silverstone. I don't think I want to be racing in this weather right now. A bit too cold for my liking. It's one of the coldest tracks I've ever seen at Silverstone.
I mean, I wouldn't mind racing there. You certainly wouldn't be cold on the racetrack. You'd be cold in the pit lane. Silverstone is notorious for being. I mean, every track's cold. It could be, you could be on the surface of the sun and it would still be a bit chilly. It's notoriously, obviously, with circuits always being on, majority of the time being on airfields, especially the old ones, Silverstone obviously being one of them. It's just it can get very cold even in the middle of the summer. Having had lots of experience in that situation, it's baking hot, blistering heat, and yet in the pit lane you still want to wear a coat of some sort. It's actually quite depressing when you're sitting there. But I've just noticed Frederick Roy, his first lap didn't actually count, so that's very, very crucial. He's only now got one lap to do it, obviously. Got a few other people driving along. Sauerhaug is just about to come across. He's going through Club and then Vel. Is he going to improve on his time? Never mind, let's say he's 3/10 clear of Heading Hague as it stands at the moment. He's got a good couple of purples in, a good couple of green sets, but I don't think it's going to be enough. No, it's not. 6/10 off. But that has caused some. Simon Dodd's actually just gone up into P5. But Sauerhaug, that is the person to beat as it stands at the moment. And I don't think at this moment in time anyone's really got an answer for him.
No, Henning Haig just comes across the line. He could not improve. I don't think any of them could improve. Werner Estos does throw in a 1:59.728. So he does go 2/10 faster. It does send him up one position from 4th into 3rd. So 9 amateurs out there. A little bit of a smaller grid tonight, but 9 amateurs out there setting their time. I think Frederick Roy is the only person, as I say that, he just comes across the line for 2:05.09. So all the amateurs are now set. So that puts us on to the Pro-Ams. The Pro-Ams are a very small field tonight. But, again, everything is to play for. In fact, I have got 6 names on my list to go down today. Because Daniel Sedgley leads them away with 750 points. With no drops. He has to finish. Will Richardson, 700. He has a drop. Then there's Cody Pride. He's also on 700. He doesn't have a drop. Neither does Ethan Bass on 640 points. Neither does Alvin Kelberg on 620. Neither does Svenny Mattisson on 600. Now, those last 3 names, they can't win, but they can upset the apple cart. They can take that P2 and P3 away from Will Richardson and Cody Pride. Those two have got it all to play for because they need to hope that Daniel has a bad result. And with the lack of numbers, the point system that goes from 100 and then 5 points down from each time to 100, 95, 90. A DNF gets you 0 points. They have to hope that Daniel Sedgley does not finish full stop. Now, that's a tall order, of course, but then it's between those two who's going to take P2, who's going to take P3, and if they battle too much, even Bass, Alvin Kelberg, Svenny Mattisson, really, he's a long shot, they've all got a chance here.
They certainly have. As you say, anything is up for grabs, I suppose, at this moment in time, and until the checker flag drops again, we're still not going to have 100% certainty on what's actually happened. But I think realistically, Daniel Sedgley just needs to chill out this race. He doesn't need to do anything too aggressive. I think regardless where he qualifies, once that does happen, just head down, crack on. You don't, like I said, you don't want to make too many aggressive moves at this point. It's just simply not worth it. So realistically, I think this may be a for some drivers as well. And we are probably going to see this a fair bit actually. Some drivers in this race, this final race, obviously they are going to be driving what I can imagine is a little bit conservatively. I think. Now, is that a bad thing? No, not at all. While we may not have the racing that we've had in the past, I don't think it's really going to be something that the drivers are going to be too fussed about. So, yeah, I think Seiji just mentioned there, needs to just crack. He does not need to drive too aggressively. Will Richardson, again, he's got to take a little bit more liberties, I suppose, at this time. But, again, there's always that fine balance, isn't there?
There is always that fine balance, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see a couple of drivers just trying something different, taking a page out of Harley Horton's book maybe, and just going, yeah, the fuel saving's fine and all, but let's just go out on blistering pace. Everyone here does have some really good pace out here tonight, so it really does show with really just looking at the practice times, really. Temp difference between the two fastest pro-ams, then about 300-400ths between the next few pro-ams, and they're all bunched up together in a nice little group in their practice time. So they do have the pace. It is just really going to go down to what do they decide to do out there. As Daniel said, she's just going out there with the Gazex Racing team. He just comes around these corners now. Always nice to see around here is Silverstone, one of my favorite tracks to look at. Not one of my favorites to race. But then again, when you sim race, there's a lot of favourites out there. So Ryan Hamilton just coming across, getting ready to start his time as he comes across down the Sir Lewis Hamilton. That's the old start finish straight, not the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. That's the old start finish straight. In my opinion, a fantastic straight. Then straight in to Copse. He does have a little bit of a toe there. You can just see. Does Hamilton? He's got that toe of Daniel Gilding in front of him. Those two. Will they work together, or will it just be Hamilton getting the toe? We saw that with the pros last week, and to be fair, I don't think it worked very well, this toe. Especially when you've got Maggots and Beckett's right now, then Chappell. That dirty air is really going to be affecting you. So, Hamilton just coming around past Stowe right now. Times are about to start coming in, and Svenny Massis is the first driver to cross the line. You'll probably see his name just pop up very quickly. And it is a 59.522, but Cody Pride just throws in a 59.053. Look how fast he's gone. Will Richardson only gets a 2 minute. And Chatterton, again, he's also 2 minutes. Look how close it is between those two. Even Bassin, that little Ford takes a 149.248. And Daniel Sedgley, he gets the P3 overall in class. Fourth fastest at 159.480. More times will be coming across right now. Hamilton, he's just got a couple corners left to go. He's navigated the Bell Chicane. He's into club right now. What does he have? Oh, sorry, it was an invalid lap. I do apologize. I can tell that my mind is not there at the moment. Apologies, but that is Hamilton with an invalid lap. And also Daniel Gilding, he did go fifth fastest. But that is a bit surprising for Hamilton there. But meanwhile, everybody else in the Pro-Ams, they do set a lap time. And really, it's advantage. Well, it's no advantage for anybody at the moment, which means it goes to Daniel Sedgley. He doesn't need to do anything, and he's just put himself in there with a P3. So, we continue on this. I'm just keeping my eye out. Remember, this is Silverstone. It is one of those tracks where you just have to, like we were saying earlier, you have to be on it. You have to not over-rotate the car. You don't want to push the car too much around here. You do see a lot of spins, especially at Maggots and Beckett, one of the hot spots for spinning there. Incident-packed corners, really the Bell Chicane. And maybe there's, I just hear a spinner myself, and that spin is Cody Pride. So, pole position at the moment for the Pro-Ams. Cody Price just had a spin at Stowe. You're still watching Ryan Hamilton. I think Daniel's just having a little bit of a moment More cars are now starting to come over. The second laps are starting. Svenny Massis will cross the line as a 1:49.493. It's faster, but it's not fast enough. And we're going to see more times right here, are we? Ethan Bass will be coming across. Chris Chatterton will be coming across. Ethan Bass is going to cross very shortly. Chris Chatterton, I don't think, will improve. Ethan Bass throws in a 59.06.3. Look how close it is. That is 100th of a second. Daniel Sedgley goes down to P3, or still P3, sorry. He did set a faster lap time, but I don't think it made too much of a difference. He gets P3 overall. Joachim Code, next car out there, he decides not to set a lap time. So that only leaves one driver left, and you saw it. It was Ryan Hamilton. He's at a 2-minute 1:86.
Yes, he has indeed. Apologies, everyone. I am back. We were having a little bit of issues with SDK there, so I had to. I was busy trying to sort that out. Basically, the cameras decided not to work. Hence why we were on Ryan Hamilton for a fair chunk of the Pro-Am session there. So I do apologise about that. But yes, pros now, and then final pros. Then we'll get the grids ready, and then we will be going into the race. I've just noticed though, Satao, we can certainly say, I mean, that's a very impressive lap from Satao, because he's only a 10th away from Cody Pride's time in the Porsche. It's a very, very respectable time. He's third overall as it stands at the moment. Obviously, we've got the class, you can see the classes now on the left-hand side, but a 10th overall from the current pole position overall, I think it's a very, very impressive time. The pros, again, we know that they're probably going to be around about the sort of like half a second to 7/10 of a second ahead. So I could expect here as well, probably a mid 58, I think is going to be. Well, actually, no, I'm going to say a 58.3 is going to be pole position.
58.3. I'm not going to hold you to that. I reckon it's going to be about 58.6, I would say, with these pros. And remember, it is all to play for out there. Now, Sean Campbell did attempt. Unfortunately, we are down another pro. Sean Campbell unable tonight. He's got hardware issues. But 4 men will battle out for 3 positions, and we know that Alex Gow and Alex Bennett are separated by 5 points, 785 and 780. The long gist of it is Alex Gow needs to beat Bennett. Bennett has to win. Simple as. If he wins and Alex Gow gets second, tiebreak after tiebreak after tiebreak. Meanwhile, Kaz Huguenot, 685 points. It's a long shot, but unfortunately, with the drop weeks, he doesn't have a drop week either. He can't win. He can't even get P2 in the championship. But he can lose P3 to Nick Madsen, who's gone 595. Kaz Huguenot, again, in that situation, he has to finish. So those are the 4 names in the pros that matter. Obviously, I think, let's be brutally honest, I think Kaz Huguenot might have P3 wrapped up, but the permutations are there. You always have to pay attention. But again, Alex Gow and Alex Bennett, basically whoever wins this race will, in theory, maybe the champion. Again, we've looked at this for a week and I can't find anything that would decide the championship right now. They have equal first places. If Bennett wins, equal second, equal third, equal fourth, all to play for in that pro.
Yeah, I imagine you would just keep going down. Actually, you would just keep going down until you find how many positions they had in regards to the finishing. One person's obviously will have more than the other at one point, whether that could be a fifth place finishes or 6th place finishes. It really doesn't. It really doesn't matter. That could just be you continue to go down until you find someone that's on top. Again, it does show how close the championship has been. It coming down to not necessarily just the final race, but possibly after the final race as well. Once everything has been totted up, and once you actually have a look down post race at who has got the most, whatever positions it may come down to. As you say, that's one of the possible options. It may not go that way as well. Again, something that we're not going to be able to really sort of determine until the checker flag has dropped. Maybe do a little bit of quick maths in the interim before we have a chat with drivers. That's going to give us an understanding at least, but that may not even give us the actual positioning. We've got penalties that still might come into effect as well.
Yeah, we've got penalties. All the points at the moment are totaled with penalty points. Remember, they start on 25 bonus points at the start of the season, and if you have an incident-free season, you get those 25 points. With each incident, you lose some of those points. In fact, we've got one of the drivers in one of these battles in one of the categories on -5 penalty points. just due to other situations. So who knows what that is for. Now, first driver that will be crossing the line is Alex Bennett, and then it's Kaz Huguenot as well for Beniti. He's coming around the Vel chicane right now. Both of them are coming here. Alex Bennett needs this to be a good lap time. He'll cross the finish line. It's a 1:38.291. I eat my words. And it's a 1:58.616 from Kaz Huguenot. The rest of the times now coming down. Nedlick, 58.339. And I believe that is Katsuyama. No, it's Nick Madsen, 58.793. Now we got to get a couple more drivers coming across the line. That is Harley Horton with 58.491. And he's going to be pointing to one side as Harry Wills comes across. It's not a good time there for him. It is looking very good for Alex Bennett. And also I just realized Alex Gao has disconnected. Now, have we missed something here?
I don't know.
Something here?
Let's just have a quick look. We have a quick replay, but I don't think it's anything.
And remember, I think he takes. Yeah, he does one laps, doesn't he? He's a one lap driver, and it would not surprise me. He pulls to one side. He cut it at Maggots and Beckett's. It was a cut at Maggots and Beckett's. That is going to be that is going to be okay. We know there's only 8, 9 pros out there tonight, but regardless, that is still going to be a tall order for that Ferrari to get around, let's be brutally honest, a Porsche field. The top 4 of Porsches. Nick Madsen's in a Ferrari. It is going to be tough for
Are you sure you don't mean Lamborghini?
Yeah, Lamborghini, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Porsche?
Yeah, I saw a badge. And for some reason, when you look at your overlay, a badge, the 2 badges, when their outlines do look slightly familiar. I do apologize.
I mean, like you were just saying, touch on those one. It is going to be, that is a tall order. That is a tall order for Alex Gao. I think regardless, even if you've only got 5 drivers, separate between yourself and first, either way, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially with a grid like this. The second lap's coming around now. We've got a couple of green sectors, but I don't think there's not going to be too much movement now. Nedlick doesn't improve on his previous lap time. What about Kassiami? Is he going to improve? I don't think he will. You can see Harry Wills will be just coming across the line as well. Kassiami doesn't improve.
Oh. Yeah, doesn't improve. I don't think Harry
Reynolds.
will.
Stuart Reynolds up into P6 in class. There we go. Now, do you know what? That was it, actually. Like I said, Sean Campbell unable to attend for some issues. So, yeah, that is Reynolds was the last person in there with the lap. And, well, that's qualifying. The final round of the RAWS. That is the final qualifying session done. And, again, Cody Pride and Ethan Bass, very respectable times. Not too far away from that top by any stretch of the imagination. But Alex Bennett, 1:58.2. So even I was slightly out there. They were even quicker than I anticipated.
But they were only separated by 800th of a second. And by the way, that Cody Pride, Ethan Bass, that was 100th of a second between the two of them. And Ethan Bass was saying, because he had a tow by Chris Chatterton. Down the hangar straight, he had Chris Chatterton giving him a tow. He couldn't beat Cody. And Cody, to his own words, said that he left a bit on the table there, made a few mistakes. So even Cody was knowing that he could have gone better, could have gone faster, but was unable to, which it's the way it goes sometimes with qualifying, especially when you have the situation that you're having to be safe and make sure you don't make mistakes in qualifying for the race as well. Now, for those unaware, it is 75 minutes, 2 mandatory pit stops. So when we talk about what to expect, we expect to see a lot of chain racing, a lot of pack racing in the pros, definitely, unless Alex Gao or Alex Bennett decides to make a run for it. It's going to be a little bit of a split up there in the pro-ams and the amateurs. Again, we will see some pack racing as well, and that promises to be good. Do you have any predict? I'm not going to ask you predictions on who's going to win. You got an idea of who's going to fill up the rest of the spots on the podium?
What are we talking for pro? This is or
all of them really. I mean, pro-ams a 5-car battle, amateurs a 7-car battle. It's all it's very interesting when you think about it. That those are probably more interesting battles than the Pro Championship, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in regards to the pros, I reckon Gal will get a podium. I still think Alex Gal's got a shot for a podium. Whether he's got the shot for the win, different story. But I certainly reckon that there's a podium on the cards for Alex Gal. We know the pace. Pro-Ams, yeah, Cody Pride, Ethan Bass, they'll be on the podium as well. It's going to be a dice between Sedgley and Matheson for P3, I reckon. I think, again, Sedgley's got a good bit of confidence as well. We know he's got some good race pace, so Sedgley's got a very, very good chance. Southaug is just, that AM category, he is just there. He's on it. Absolute on it. So I think realistically, Southaug just needs to run. He doesn't need to race at all. Like, if someone overtakes him, if Howe gets a really good start and manages to overtake him in turn one, I don't think he really needs to care. He just needs to crack on and just sort of deal with it, sit behind, and then just jump in the pit stop. So if I was Southaug, I would, even if you lose 2 positions, 3 positions, it doesn't matter. You just need to sit there and fuel save. You need an opportunity to fuel save. That's going to be it if someone does get ahead of you. Southaug, I reckon it will then be... to be honest, I think it's going to be pretty... I think where people are qualified, I believe that is going to be pretty much where it is going to be. So I think as well, Werner S and Johan Assen, I think they're going to be pretty much... Henning Haig. I think, Henning Haig obviously in second in the AM category. So, yeah, I'll go Southaug, Maston and S for the AM as well. I could be completely wrong.
We could be wrong.
But that's my prediction.
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing for sure, Southaug does not need to do anything tonight. He could just basically give up the lead and stay in the back and be sipping on a nice drink while he just goes for a possession. like it's the final round of the Tour de France and they're going to the Champs-Elysees and he has champagne in his hand. And I hope that all of you guys have champagne in your hands getting ready for this fantastic finale at Silverstone. We're going to take a quick break while the session gets ready to go up. Join us in about 10 minutes or so. We will be back for the finale of the Race Anywhere World Series here at Silverstone. Don't go anywhere.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endurance series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are getting ready. There's 10 seconds left in practice before the finale of the Race Anywhere World Series here on Absolute Sim Racing. 75 minutes of Silverstone in GT3s is about to start shortly. Myself here, Craig King, with Daniel Hanover. If you haven't been with us already, let me just give you a quick rundown of the situation. Every championship bar one is up for grabs. The amateur has been decided. A seven-way playoff, well, seven-way decider for second down to seventh in the Pro-Am Championship by 3 drivers, 50 points between them, and then third place could be by any 5 drivers. And then for the pros, it's all about the top 2. 5 points separate the top 2. Alex Gow and Alex Bennett. They are getting ready to grid up here. And Alex Bennett is on pole for the pros. Martin Edlick will be P2. Harley Horton will be P3. Kaz Huguenot, 4th. Nick Madsen, 5th. Stuart Reynolds will be 6th. Augusto Cassiami, 7th. Harry Wills, 8th. And yes, that is Alex Gow, championship contender, in 9th position. In the Pro-Ams, Cody Pride, championship contender, is leading them off with Ethan Bass right beside him. Daniel Sedgley, championship leader, is 3rd. Sonny Masses will be 4th. Daniel Gilding, 5th. Joachim Code will be 6th. Chris Chatterton, 7th. Will Richardson will be 8th. And Ryan Hamilton will be 9th. The champion, Sauerhaug, is leading the amateurs. Only the best way possible for him. Henning Haig will be P2. Werner S. will be P3. Johan Assen, 4th. Simon Dodd will be 5th. Magman Jonlund, 6th. And then it's Dean Timms, Frederick Droy, Ingo Lapsian, and Edison Manguera. Daniel, are we ready for this? It's 19 Celsius now. It's getting colder as we talk at Silverstone.
I think we're about as ready as we're ever going to be, aren't we, for the next 75 minutes? We will have to see how it all goes. And to be honest, we haven't got too long because it's all starting to kick off, isn't it? This is it. It all comes down to this final race. 75 minutes left of this season, and it's going to be a very, very good one indeed.
We'll promise to keep you up to date with as much as we can when it comes to the permutations. We need to know, though, that Alex Bennett needs to win this to win the championship. He'll hold them once again in the start zone. He'll hold them to the very last moment, and now he goes. And he's going to try and get Martin Nedlick, his teammate, to just slot in behind him, and he does. That pushes Harley Horton just out a little bit here. They'll come around to Abbey. They'll go down into Village. Now, who's going to make a move early on here? There is a car making a move in the backfield. That looks to be a Stuart Reynolds story. Alex Gow's going to have to go around the outside of the inside to Augusto Cassiami. He does that. He makes it pretty stick. It's all pretty Steven at the moment in the pros. What about the Pro-Ams?
Well, they're already going through turn 1. Cody Pride does take the lead. Oh, Joachim Code that's had a spear, the number 96. That has cost him big time. Meanwhile, a little bit further up, though, that is going to be Will Richardson trying to make a move up the inside of Chris Chatterton. But Chris Chatterton decides that he is against that move and tries to make it straight back into turn 4 and maintains that position. Yes, he does. You can see that is Ryan Hamilton just in the background there. But yes, Joachim Code has lost a significant amount of positions. But Cody Pride leading the way, with followed by Ethan Bass and Svenninger Matheson. That is your top 3 in the Pro-Ams. And then down to the Ams, it's all kicking off already.
All kicking off. Michael Youngland is trying to make a few positions up after he did not have he had an interesting start, and he's trying his best, getting a little bit squeezed out there by Dean Timms, who's on his charge for a podium. Managed to keep it going, but meanwhile, Frederick Droy and Magman Yolan will be battling beside the 2 slow-mo drivers, just having a little bit of a moment there. They're keeping it calm, and now they're coming to Woodcock, Luffield, Brooklands. I think everyone's just taking it a little bit calm in the amateurs and the Pro-Ams as well. You've got this nice little battle here with Will Richardson trying to get past Ryan Hamilton. They are a little bit of a train, but you can just see Chatterton is Chatterton, Hamilton, Richardson, they're starting to lose the rest of the pack. You can see it just there in the relatives as well. They are starting to lose it. Will Richardson in this BMW, he looks like he wants to make a move. He's going to try it. There is a double toe here, though. Can he use it? He's getting a little bit careful there. That is a broken guard car. That is Svenny Matt is having to serve a slowdown, sorry. Now, will Will Richardson try and make this move? He does not. He holds off when it comes to Stowe. I'm just going to keep an eye out. Will he try to make a late lunge here into the Bell chicane? He does not. So, all pretty even Steven, but these two are getting a little bit held up by Chatterton here. Chatterton not having the best of times at the moment. You can just see now he's 2.5 seconds behind Daniel Gilding.
Indeed, very, very true. As you see, that 2-second gap has extended pretty quickly indeed. Have a look at a little bit further up the field. So I'm just having a quick look. Look at the gap here between Alex Gal and Nick Madsen. It's only a couple of tenths of a second. More importantly, though, Alex Bennett isn't pulling away from Nedgelik. So this is the battle pretty much still. I mean, the biggest battle we've got in the pros is between Cass Huguenot and Nick Madsen, which is, you can actually see the gap there. It's just over a second. Doesn't mean all that much, though. I think, more importantly, Bennett isn't pulling away from Nedgelik. Nedgelik isn't pulling away from Horton. So that gap is, the gap is staying relatively calm there. I wonder, though, is Alex Gal going to try and make a move? No, decides against it. Imagine if the move's going to be made, it's going to go into Stowe. And if he can make a move into Stowe, that's going to allow him to then really, really push forward. You can see he's taking a little bit slower going into the first half of Maggotts and Beckett's, but this is the reason why. Because he gets the drive on the way out. It's exactly what he wanted to do. Perfect car placement there by Alex Gal. And this could very well be what he needs. He goes to the inside. And you know what? There's going to be not much fight there from Nick Madsen, and that's going to be straight up the inside. Alex Gal, he's made up 4 positions since he started this first lap.
Great move there from Alex Gal. He gets what he needs, and he'll see a sea of green up in front. A few Manatee drivers, one full send driver. He needs to catch up there. Now, you did have one retirement. Svenny Mattis has retired the car. But meanwhile, here at the moment, it's all going on. Look at what's happening here. That's Johan Assen going a little bit wide there. No idea what's happened there for Assen to go a little bit wide, but he is now at the back of the field, and that looked to be like, oh, looking at where he is right now, that looks like Maggotts and Beckett's he made that mistake, and he's all the way down the field at the moment. So Assen losing out time at the moment. I'm not sure if he could recover from that. He could recover. Manguera as well at the back of it. Here's a replay of Svenny Massis there. Not sure what happened there. I know he pulled to one side when we got to the hanger straight and just loses the back of the car. Keeps it safe, and I think that was just him going. And there you go. That was Johan Assen. Well, the track goes to the left and the car decides to go to the right. So no idea what's happened there for Johan Assen.
I think there was contact. I think there was a bit of contact there, to be perfectly honest. That would be my guess as to why that was. As to why the car wouldn't have just violently snapped that way either way, otherwise, unless there was a little bit of, a little bit of a snap on general oversteer. I just don't think that would have been the case. Oh, that's a bit of a brave move from Ryan Hamilton, isn't it? Tries to go up the inside of Chris Chatterton. He's got the drive though, and you know what? He has indeed got it. That is Ryan Hamilton that's made the move on Chris Chatterton. Very, very good move indeed. Tried to go on the outside of Brooklands, took an optimal line. I think Chris Chatterton was just trying to take his number racing line and didn't expect Ryan Hamilton to sort of be there. Going into Luffield. Managed, I thought Chris Chatterton was going to try and go around the outside down into Copse, but decides against it there. You might even try and have another look now. Or they're going to go side by side down into Maggotts and Beckett's. That's a brave move indeed. So they're losing even more time. That's going to be a bit of contact, surely. No, it's not. Oh my goodness, Ryan Hamilton sends it back up the inside for the second half of the Beckett's complex. And you know what? This is just left. Well, I reckon Will Richardson's going to have a bit of a look here. Look at that. Is it going to be 3 wide? It might be 3 wide going now into Stowe. Oh my goodness, if it is. I'll tell you what though, he goes to the inside. He's been sandwiched between the Lamborghini and the Ferrari. No, but once again, Hamilton and Chatterton are side by side. The problem is, look at the gap now between Chatterton and Gilding. It's 5.6 seconds. It's only been 2 laps.
It's a massive gap, and I would have, if I was Will Richardson, I would have gone there. I would have taken that move, because the more time you spend behind these two, the more time you lose for the rest of them. You look at them; they're doing 58 at the 59 there. What are these 3 drivers going to do? 2:02. They've lost 3 seconds this lap just with the battling at the moment. And while it's an entertaining battle at the moment, it's not really going that well. Will Richardson trying to go for a move. I thought he was going to go for a late move there into Village, but he thinks against it into Aintree and the loop. They go now. Now, Will Richardson does have a little bit of a run here. I reckon he might be able to make a move down here. But Ryan Hamilton still has that toe from Chris Chatterton. The BMW doesn't get up to speed as fast as this Lamborghini, and I think that helps Hamilton right here. He's going to hold on. Now, will he go for one of those moves into Brooklands and Luffield? I don't think he will. But he loses at the back of the car a little bit there at Luffield. You can just see he got a little bit understeer there, it felt like to me. Just lost the back of the car. He does hold on to it, though. But how long can they hold on like this? Has Hamilton decided now he has to hold up because he has to, race? Because there's Daniel Sedgley. Like I said, he's just enjoying a drive at the moment in P3. A little bit pressured by Hamilton's teammate, Daniel Gilding. But I think he'll be happy where he is right now.
Yeah, certainly so. It's just, again, he needs to just drive his race. If Gilding wants to try and get by, again, I would sort of let him, especially at this point, as at the moment. Again, looking at the Pro-Am Championship, Will Richardson is the person who is in second place, and he is, 50 points. He's 50 points down. So, 50 points down. He's in currently P16. So again, it's just not playing ball, I don't think, for Will Richardson. So Daniel Sedgley, yeah, he's just cracking on, just doing what he needs to do, and making minimal mistakes, if none at all. I have noticed, and unfortunately, this has really thrown things in a spanner in the works, isn't it? Look at Sauterhaug. Something has happened to Sauterhaug. Oh no, it's on the exit of Beckett, and that is a massive, massive blow. Luckily, it's this early in the race. Luckily, it is early in the race, but it does mean though that Sauterhaug is now all the way down. It was in last place until Mangera. And so Mangera has had this moment. Coming down into Stowe. Is it just a little bit too early on the throttle? A little bit too much curb. And that was the reason there. And then you should see Sauterhaug there as Sauterhaug goes. So that's a position already made up. Though Sauterhaug now, that's a long way to go now. That's a hell of a long time that he needs to now make up. Look at that. I'm looking at the gap, actually. Let's have a quick look. The gap is 14 seconds to Henning Hay.
Well, if anyone can do it, it's the champion. It's the champion. Remember, Sauterhaug doesn't need to worry too much. He's already got the championship locked up, but I don't think you'd like to finish the race that far off the pace. Made the mistake. See how many positions you can get back. Might be able to get back into the top 5 of the amateurs here would be a nice, respectable drive. Right now, though, you can think that Sauterhaug is just going to be driving for the fun of it. He knows that the other driver is having battles here. He doesn't want to upset their battles. But, again, all he needs to do is just finish the race. So, it's a shame. You would have liked the champion to win the last race of the season, to just put an exclamation mark on his, well, let's be brutally honest, dominant season overall. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, don't think that is happening for him. So, a bit of a shame. You can just see the gaps here between everybody. Alex Gow in that pro battle. He is starting to catch up a little bit, but he is losing time. 2 seconds behind Alex Bennett. As it stands at the moment in the pros, remember, Alex Gow had that 5-point lead. Regardless, he needs to be P2 of Alex Bennett's P1. And right now, Alex Bennett would be winning the championship just because of that. Well, let's be brutally honest, the qualifying may come back to haunt Alex Gow in this championship.
You'd hope it wouldn't, would you? But it may very well do. We've got a couple more time you can see coming in. Henning Haig is just putting a 1:59.7, so he's about 6/10 clear of Werner S in that lap alone. That's very, very impressive straight away. From the pace of that. The pace of that Audi from Henning Haig. I don't know. Is Alex Gow going to be too... I'd start to be a little bit... I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one, actually. It's a good point, because the gap now is 3.1 seconds. Now, realistically, Alex Bennett has got the upper hand, because not only is he probably saving a little bit of fuel, I would imagine at this point, he has also got his teammate directly behind him. And he's also got a further teammate of Cass Huguenot, further behind that as well, in between Nejlik and Huguenot, which obviously the two teammates of Alex Bennett, is Harley Horton. So the Lamborghini seems to be strong here as well. You know, it seems to be a very, very strong car in this pro category. And as a result, yeah, unless Alex Gallagher got something that he's maybe doing, maybe he's just trying to actually save a bit of fuel instead. Maybe he's thinking, you know what, let's play the long game here, try and save a bit of fuel while not dropping too much time. See if you can make it up in the pits. If you can save an additional lap and not lose the 2 seconds because of it, you're going to make that up. So, again, it's simply, we don't have the information. We just don't know what's actually going to happen at this moment in time, to be perfectly honest.
He lost another 2 tenths there, but he gains on positions and then loses some. So it does feel like it could be a little bit of fuel saving there. But again, with no slipstream, that does hinder him. Now, Ryan Hamilton having a little bit of fun out there at the moment. I say fun. You can just see who he's with. He's got Chris Chatterton in front. He's got Will Richardson behind him. It's been like this, well, really, since the start of the race with these 3 drivers. It's just been absolutely bumper to bumper. And Ryan Hamilton almost getting tapped in the back by Will Richardson there at Village. And into Aintree they go. Well, the loop, then Aintree, I apologize. And then he does hold on. I thought Will Richardson was going to tap him there at the moment. That may have compromised him. Now Hamilton's got a really good run here. Does he go for it? That pace, though, Chris Chatterton, that Ferrari, it does throw you off. It's going to be a late move in. Can he make this move? There's going to be contact if he keeps going for it. And that is Chatterton closing the door as fast as he could when they hit Brooklands. And I don't think Hamilton was ready for that. But it's very interesting to see. The Lamborghini, we know it doesn't have the highest of top speeds. But you could start to see, I don't know if it was Hamilton having a little bit of a lift or not, but Chatterton just started to pull away just in the final moments of that straight before the braking. So maybe Chatterton's running a little bit lower wing. Maybe it's Hamilton saving. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. But at the moment, they're now 7 seconds behind the next car up the road, which is Daniel Sedgley. You can actually see it there just in those timing towers. They're really just, they're kind of sealed their fate. They're battling for P5, these 3 guys. And while that's not what they want to be doing, I think I'd still rather have this than bubble racing at the moment.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, it is good racing. Maybe Will Richardson's already sort of like come to the conclusion that maybe the championship isn't going to be for him. The road he tries to get the inside of Ryan Hamilton. Ryan Hamilton has to defend. He doesn't really have to defend, but he just keeps the car around the outside of Stowe. The Lamborghini's got some pretty decent amount of traction going through that we can see, but manages to keep ahead. So Will Richardson again is stuck behind, can't quite get past Ryan Hamilton at this moment in time. There is a bit of there was a move that Ethan Bass has just made. I wonder, was there a small little mistake from Cody Pride there? But ultimately, Ethan Bass is now leading the charge in the Pro-Am category. Let's have a quick look. We've just got the replay up here, so let's have a move. Now, here we go. So it's going into Stowe. Ethan Bass had a great run coming out of Maggots and Beckett. And just up the inside, Cody Pride didn't even attempt to defend it. Whether he knew that he was going to try and make the move back straight away, or I suppose again, there's, you know, you've got a 4.5 second gap going down into, you know, P3. So there's no real point. I have noticed as well that Daniel Gilding has also passed Daniel Sedgley. This is a very, very late lunge going into. Look at that, Daniel Sedgley had to turn out of it, steer out of the going into Brooklands that time. He wasn't expecting the move to be made, but fair play to Daniel Gilding, sent it up the inside, and it's worked in his favour massively.
That's a very late move there to be working out there, but still good there from Sedgley. I'm thinking Cody Pride must be thinking fuel save right now. That's the only reason I can think about him just deciding to give that position up. No need to battle at the moment, no need to fight it. Maybe that's what he's going for. This is Simon Dodd now making a move, and that is going to be a defense around the outside of, that is Stowe, isn't it? Cops, sorry. That is Cops there. He made that move, and you can just see he's got his teammate there helping him along and almost going together into Maggots and Beckett. Wow. They both get through. That is a good move for Eclipse, though, to get both of them through. Brilliant to see. Now, Slow-Mo could do the same thing. But not with this battle at the moment. Johan Aston trying to get past Ingo Lapsian at the moment as they now come through Maggots and Beckett. You can just see on this cockpit, look at what they have to do to get around Maggots, Beckett, and then Chapel. It is such a challenge in these cars because they do have the downforce, but they are big boxes at the end of the day. And really, that just shows it because they have to take so much speed off compared to, as I was saying earlier, a car with downforce like a prototype or even a Formula car.
Yeah, it's true. You know, you're taking a good sort of like 10 k's less going in a GT3 car. I mean, they're light cars in terms of their road going counterparts, but they're still, you know, 1450 kilos. They're not light by any stretch of the imagination, as you say, in regards to a prototype or an open wheel car. So you're taking a surprisingly less amount of speed. Also, as well, you have to take into consideration that there is a bit of loss of downforce from Johannesson. He will be losing downforce being behind Ingo Lapsian. I thought he wasn't going to be behind much longer as he tries to get up the inside. So turn 3 might very well do. Lapsian is now on the back foot here. Now right on board with Ingo Lapsian. He has to give the position, has to give the space. And you know what? I think Johannesson, he's not quite done it yet, though. He still has to keep it pin running outside of turn 5. But ultimately, though, does it. So, do you know what? That happened, and that move, the ultimate sort of move, that happened through turn 1. Because you saw Ingo Lapsian had a small little moment going through turn 1, and that upset the remainder of that complex. The entire first sector, pretty much, was all unraveled straight away from turn 1. Shows that how momentum conservation and how keeping in a rhythm is very, very key here. Because that move, like I said, yeah, that happened 5 corners before it actually was made.
Yeah, normally when I'm at Silverstone, I like to make the move into Village. I like to, because of just how wide the track is, and just with just the angle of the corner, you've got so much room to play with. And trying to make a move down into Village, the corner before that move started, instead of the loop when he finally got side by side to beat him in braking and then finish off at Aintree. So very, very risky to go for the move there at the loop, but he made it work off. He made it paid out, sorry. And now he is moving on. That was a really good move. I mean, I'm still a little bit perplexed because that's not really the place you expect to see someone like this. Cody Pride's going to really take that lead, though, of the Pro-Ams while we were talking about this, but he's still battling with Ethan Bath. Now, this looks like it is left field. It is. I'm just trying to check where that is at the moment. Where is that on the track? No, that was the loop as well. Sorry. That is the loop down into Aintree. You know, it always looks weird, the corners around here, but they are still battling. Does Cody Pride decide to go for a move? Not this time. Now, he was trying the exact same thing we just saw there in the amateurs, and now he's trying to get around, but I think he'll be having a slingshot when he comes around Luffield. But the gap there, that's 3/10 of a gap, the 3/10 of the gap right there. Can't expect to see him make a move down into Cops. So if he's going to make another move, it'll be hanger straight, but he's getting racy. Surely fuel saving would be the best thing for him right now.
I mean, again, maybe it's just coming to the last round and they're like, do you know what? Let's just go for it and sort of see, let's go for it and see what happens. I mean, it's certainly good. Well, I mean, they are fuel saving at this point anyway. You know, they're both fuel saving regardless of whether they want to or not, because they're not going to be able to drive flat out. So you know, you've got opportunities where even in this sort of battle, you are going to be fuel saving. Having a look, though, the gap has come down about 0.6 of a second. Daniel Gilding is now 3.6 seconds behind as opposed to 4.1, what it was a few laps ago. And I wonder if the battle continues to happen between these two, that gap will continue to come down. And before you know it, that 3.6, that 3.5 seconds, it'll be a second. If the rate that these two are battling, I reckon another 10 minutes, and then it will be game on.
Well, look at these times right there. That is half a second he's taken out. And even Daniel Sedgley takes out 2:10. You can see here, 2 minute 154, 2 minute 132, and then that 1:59.672 from Daniel Gilding. So it is catching that back to our favourite battle in the Pro-Ams, outside the leaders, of course. It's Chatterton, Hamilton, and Will Richardson, and you can start to see that the moves are being made. And finally, Ryan Hamilton gets that move. And once again, he's got to try and do this around the outside of the loop. Excuse me? Can he hold this off? He's going to hold this off, and they're going to go side by side. At the moment, Hamilton does have that move paid off, but there's an overlap between him and Chatterton. And Will Richardson is thinking about this, but he decides not. Now, can they hold on to this side by side? They go around into Brooklyn and to Luffield. Still side by side. Hamilton's got the traction, though. He's trying to pull away there before they get to Luffield. And finally, after that move started a few corners ago, he's made it work. Will Richardson patiently waiting. And now, Hamilton just to go on the defense. Chatterton will have to go around the outside of Cox. He can't make it. I'm making that mistake that's opening it up for Will Richardson, but he thinks better of it. He decided to give a little bit of time there. So, nice little move there from Hamilton. Nice little respect by everybody else. But I'm just going to say, that is just one for the playbook, because that's now, what, 2 moves we have seen around the outside of the loop by drivers now. That's as an amateur. That's a pro-am. We just need the pro, and we're going to have a full house at the moment. We do apologize for a little bit of camera issues at the moment, but back there, look at the pros. I want to just point out something. I've been keeping my eyes on it. That gap between Huguenot and Gao is continuing to expand. I don't think that's because of slipstream. Now, is Alex Gao really struggling for pace? Well, he matched him last time by a 10th. I don't think it's a matter of pace. I think Alex Gao is probably fuel saving on his own.
Yeah, I reckon that's the key. I think that's got to be it. To be fair, there doesn't seem to be another reason as to why. I don't think the pace is that far off, and I really don't think that Alex Gao is that far off in terms of pace. So I think it is just right. Accept it, save it, and then once the fuel has been saved, now try and push for it. Might not even be saving for the entire race. You might not even be saving the amount of fuel for this entire stint, for example. Just enough maybe to get an additional lap in, which I imagine is pretty much what the top 4 are going to be doing anyway. They're going to be pretty much doing a top 4 almost guaranteed. So, yeah, that's my... that's what I would probably be suggesting.
It looks really bad when you're Alex Gao there and you see in your cockpit and you see that string of 4 drivers and you're unable to keep up with them but you are fuel saving, but it's starting to slip away a little bit. And I mean, 3.5 seconds, yeah, you can gain some of that time back in the pits, but you are going to have to start thinking about putting the throttle down, start to push, start to go for the moves, start to make that aggressive play. Can he do it? Will he do it? Well, he'll need to, definitely. But it is very close there. You can just see, yet again, we always say about this, it's always going to be a case of the pros just all together in a little group. There's the group of 4 there. They're all going around and they're just having the time of their life out there. Now, the Pro-Am, just watching the Pro-Am battle real quickly. Chris Chatterton and Will Richardson are having this little bit of a battle, and Will Richardson did get by, but they're side by side into the Velsh chicane, and you can see Chatterton hit the sausage curb, and he's had to give up that position. But all this battling these guys have been doing, Hamilton, Richardson, Chatterton, that is Joachim Code now coming on. So we lost a free car battle. We're back to another free car battle. Now, Joachim Code hasn't really got a lot to battle for tonight, so really it's just have a bit of fun. How much fun does he want to have? Well, I reckon he wanted to get a little bit racy right now, and I reckon he wants to get by both of these after he's seen both of them hold themselves up for, what, the last 5 laps? 5-6 laps?
I think so, yeah, he definitely wants to get stuck in, doesn't he? And why wouldn't you, I think, to be fair? Yeah, at the end of the day, you've got an opportunity to be able to get stuck in and to jump in and have a bit of racing. Why would you not want to, I think? We see Chatterton, Richardson, obviously Hamilton, they've been battling for a fair old chunk of time, and Code has just been sitting there for the entire race pretty much and just slowly catching. And I imagine now this is the time where he's going to want to push a little bit further forward. Down in the AM category, Souter Haug is making up a couple more positions. Made up the position obviously on Ingo Lapsi to Magera. Next person in his sight is Johan Assen. Now, you were saying the championship has indeed been wrapped up, but I still think that there is going to be something of... I can imagine that Souter Haug will want at least a podium. And realistically, that gap to said podium isn't that far away. The gap is only about 3.5 seconds. Now, with the pace that we've seen from Souter Haug in previous races, I can certainly see that gap coming down, providing there are no other incidents. Any other incidents, and that's going to be a game over, which is Souter Haug won't want, and obviously we don't want that either. But it's just Souter Haug needs to make sure that these next moves that are going to happen, and they seem to be quite inevitable at the pace that he's got, need to be done in the right way.
Yep, and he knows it. He knows how to play this right. He knows how to be safe. He's got his teammates in front of him as well. A nice little play. I just forgot the track at the time here. Totally forgot where we were. Pit window is open, and Joachim Koh's the first car to dart into the pits there. I think he saw Richardson and Chatterton having a little bit of a battle there, and knowing how far they've been battling, just deciding against it. So that's going to be quite interesting. Now, am I seeing this right on my timing tower? No, I'm not. So my timing tower just had Alex Bennett going down the order. I thought, oh no, what's happened? But he's still there. Now, pit window's open. The pros are going to have, I would say, 3 laps left of fuel. I might be wrong. It could be 2 laps left. Pro-Ams, I reckon we're going to see them in 2 laps still. Ethan Bassi starting to slightly pull away from Cody Pride. We haven't been keeping our eyes on that, but we've been keeping our side eyes on that, if you know what I mean. Just making sure, and you can see the timing towers. Remember, you can probably guess by the timing tower right now, anything in yellow, the interval is less than a second. Anything in orange, the interval is less than half a second. And there are still a lot of oranges in there. Of course, the pros still there. We expect that to be a little bit spread out as the race goes on after the first set of pit stops. But here's a nice little 4-car group here. And that is a lot of slow-mo drivers. Now, back at the pros quickly. Now, this is a fun battle, Daniel. It's Katsuyami versus Harry Wheels. Both of these guys have had some really fun battles recently this season. So this could be fun to watch as they both come into the pits. They didn't have a pit lane incident, Daniel. That makes me happy.
It makes me happy as well, to be fair. I've had a... I may have had a pit lane incident at one point there. I absolutely annihilated the gearbox of a... I was in LMP2, and I think I was in the LMP2, and I absolutely annihilated a GT3 car doing about 60 kilometers an hour over the speed limit. So it's a very, very tricky pit lane. It's a very tricky pit lane because it's so open. Yeah, focusing back on the racing, we do have a little bit here. Satterhow goes up the inside of Johan Assen, and that was a move done and dusted. Now, next person up in front is his teammate. Magnar Jonland isn't going to matter too much because they all come into the pit. Literally every AM. Every single AM driver, possibly bar Ingo Lapsian and possibly bar Edson Manguera. Is it going to be... No, so the only person that didn't come out is Ingo Lapsian. Apart from that, every single AM driver is in the pit lane. So it's now become a 2-class event on track at the moment.
Well, it's even a 1-class event because every Pro-Am bar Ethan Bass went into the pits.
That's true, actually, yeah.
I mean, how Ethan Bass managed to fuel save, I don't know. You talk about this pit lane. We've had I myself have been part of a very famous incident on an iRacing video broadcasting before when someone's done the exact same thing you've done before. So I've seen it myself. It's been fantastic. So they're saying leave space. Does this mean the drivers in the front are pitting? They are. They're all leaving themselves space. So Bennett, Nedlick, Horton, Huguenot, are they all coming in? All 4 of them coming in. What about Alex Gow? He comes in as well. This is going to be interesting. Look at this. Nick Madsen, you want to come in? Yeah, why not? Ethan Bast, you're the last man out on track. I think you might want to start. Will Richardson as well yet to pit. So I'm curious what's going to happen because look at this pit lane. It's, I mean, not the best camera, unfortunately. We'll find a good camera. There's not really very, very many good cameras for the pit lane, but just look at that little that train of green cars there. And Alex Gow, gets in the pit box at the same time. Can he get a little bit of an advantage here? This is the slowest race you'll ever see, but this is important. What does Alex Gow do? He had 3 seconds was the gap. Can he get ahead here? I don't think he's going to be short pitting. He'll be pitting or fueling all the way. Oh, it's tense. It's not enough. It's not enough. Actually, hang on 1 second. How close is that gap going to be? Nick Madsen almost comes out in front of him. He gets away with it. I don't think he saved time. He saved a second and a half, but he's still 2 seconds down. It's going to be tough for Alex Gow from here. That is going to be a tough, tall order.
He needs, at this point now, he needs to absolutely gun it. I mean, just absolutely gun it. There is no letter. There cannot be any letter now from Alex Gow. He needs to put in basically qualifying laps every single lap now. He has already pulled about a 10th and a half on Nick Madsen, so he's certainly come out of the blocks running. But Alex Bennett has got now... there's a half a second gap between Bennett and Nedlick, and then there's a 1.5 second gap between Nedlick and Harley Horton. 1.2 seconds is the gap now. So, yeah, Alex Gal has to really, really pull out all the stops at this point, and it's going to be a very, very tall order. If anyone can do it, though, it certainly is Alex Gal. But we will have to wait and see. And then once we've got that, I think once another sort of 4 or 5 laps have gone, it will give us a bit more of an understanding of the pace that Gal has, if he is catching up or if he is losing a bit more time. And that's going to give us a bit more of an understanding on, what is Alex Bennett going to have to do? Is he going to have to push? Is he not going to have to push so much? We'll see.
Yeah, we've got to keep an eye on those lap times as well. We'll see those lap times coming around. Not this lap, but next lap we will get an idea of what the pace is going right now. Track temp remains at 19 Celsius, so it's not getting cooler. And it is starting to get a little bit more grippy right now as they've done 30 minutes out there. Jochen Code, Ryan Hamilton having a little battle as well at the front of the Pro-Ams as well. You've got Ethan Bass and Cody Pride. Those are the key battles. Gilding and Sedgley are quite close together. Remember, Daniel Sedgley just basically has to finish and be in a good position. And that is what he is doing right now, so we won't need to look at that too much. Jochen Code having a bit of fun right now. He is behind Hamilton. But very crucially, look at the gap he's managed to pull on Chris Chatterton and Will Richardson. Remember, he pitted before them. He went for an undercut, and the undercut for him worked out fantastic. Probably the only driver to make the undercut work in this race so far. And it just goes to show, really, that he understood the situation. He did see them battling in front, and he just decided, not for me at the moment. So really good choice there by Joachim Code.
Yeah, the undercut is certainly trickier to do than the overcut, I tend to find. And if you can work it well, as Code has done, then absolutely spot on. That's absolutely, that is fantastic. So, I think realistically, I imagine that's given the number 96 definitely a boost. And the gap now 0.6 of a second to Ryan Hamilton. Ryan Hamilton had about a 1.4 second gap between that battle, and obviously Jochen Code has just decided that he's obviously, as you say, done the undercut, and that battle is now very much on the cards. Those 0.6 of a second, we'll have to wait and see if they do come down. But if they do come down, then that's going to be a very, very good battle for sure. Simon Dobb, Frederick Javoy in the AM category. That's a bit of a battle that's starting to develop as we go. And we see Droy very, very late in the breaks there. Similarly is Simon Dodd. So both pretty evenly matched as it turns out. And then Sauterhaug and Johan Assen. So this is also something to be very, very crucial. I've just had a quick look as well, though. What has happened to Dean Timms? Where has Dean Timms gone? Has something happened? Because he's been in the pits for what seems like a long old time. I'm really not sure what's happened.
I reckon he did admit that he is under the weather, and I reckon he's just unable to. He's given it his all. He knew that there was a podium, but at the end of the day, if your health cannot do it, there's no point trying to force yourself. And I've tried sim racing when ill, and if that's what I believe it is, unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And Dean Timms going from joint third, that looks to be his championship over. So that does mean that the rest of the podium is up for grabs. And at the moment, I'm just having a quick look down the order with Johan Assen in P5 and Henning Haig. Now comes Dean Timms, so I think that's what's happened there. I think Dean Timms, unfortunately, did have an issue. He's coming out the pits finally. But with Henning Haig leading them away, it looks to me, just need to do the maths, looks to me that Henning Haig would get that P3 at the moment. If things stay as they are, Henning Haig would be third in the amateurs to get that final podium position. We're watching Ethan Bass and Cody Price, though. They've been pretty neck and neck for quite a while. And Cody Price has been trying to see what he can do. He's been unable to do anything at the moment. Ethan Bass keeping that forward just nice and central. Just holding it on every week, Daniel. I'm just amazed at what this Ford can do. And yet again, he's amazed me because, I mean, when we talk about it, he's just such a driver. He's an amazing driver in this Ford.
He is indeed. Yep, when you spend that much time in the car and you learn what the car does and you learn the ins and outs of it, absolutely, you know exactly what you can do. And Ethan Bass is certainly getting the most out of it. I'm just having a quick look. We're riding now on board with Cody Pride. I just want to listen out to see if there is any lift and coasting here. There may be a little bit of fuel saving that Cody Pride is doing, but that's a bit too deep into. Wow, that was deep. Oh my goodness. I don't understand how Cody Pride managed to keep it on the track, to be honest. The car just understeered at that point, and you can see there as well, it just understeered all the way through the remainder of that entire complex going through Begerton and Chapel. So that's that's cost a crucial amount of time, over 1/10 of a second, just in that as well. And Cody Pride, I don't know how he's able to get so deep in on the brakes. It almost looks to me as if the car isn't too happy about doing that. I wonder if it's taken too much out of the front tyres. And if that is the case, Cody Pride's got to be a little bit careful, actually. And if anything, I would try and go... If any, you don't need to do much. You need to do maybe about half a car length later, half a car length earlier on the brakes in some of these corners. And just a little bit slower through. Carry that momentum through rather than try and carry the momentum into the corner, scrub it all off mid-corner, and then try and make it up on the exit. You see again through there, actually, that was a little bit nicer. There was a slightly earlier braking. It's obviously Cody Pride listening in, but there's a slightly earlier brake in there, and the car was much more receptive to turn in. It really wanted to go through the corner, rather than what it looked like going through Maggotts and Beckett's and down into Stowe. It looked like Cody Pride was fighting the car. And it's one thing you really don't want to do is simply fighting, is fight against the car itself. If it works for Cody Pride's driving style, fair play. It certainly wouldn't work for my driving style as an example. But yeah, just seems to be that there's a little bit of, I don't know, Cody Price is driving the car a little bit too hard on it.
Well, he admitted after qualifying that he was overdriving the car a bit, and we have seen before, I think Hockenheim, it rings a bell to me, where he was just overdriving the car. He does have a tendency, I mean, we all have a tendency to, I'm not going to pick him apart for that, he does have a tendency to overdrive the car, and I think that may have been one of those situations, of course, especially when you're following someone dirty air, you're a little bit faster as well. Maybe it's easier to just have a little bit of a brake and just brake earlier, or as they say in America, as they say the oval terminology, just back out the corner a little bit. But he has got a nice run here, and he's managed to keep right on the back. You can see he's unable to pull away, and this is him. I'm sure he's full throttle.
Ethan Bass is pulling away from him.
Yeah, he's pulling away from him. I cannot believe that. Whatever this Ford had, and a slide. Look at Cody Pride. He touched the grass there, and he's unable to do anything. Again, he looked for a move into the Bell chicane, not getting it. So, not happening at the moment. Sauhaug, still P5. Will he make a move on Johan Assen, his teammate? Not yet, I reckon. Also, one key thing to see there. Alex Gal, that 3.5. Oh, we just have a quick look at the replay here. That is Simon Dodd. Or is he going to clip the grass? Oh, it's clipped the grass, but well done to not spin the car out there. As I was saying, that 3.5 of Alex Gao, that is not a gap to Bennett. That is a gap to Huguenot. Alex Gao is now 6 seconds behind Alex Bennett here. And that is, well, every lap it just gets harder and harder for Alex Gao to make up that time. And that is going to be, well, yeah, just imagine. I mean, P5 at the moment, he would love a podium. I mean, just to save face, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it certainly would, and obviously I think everyone would. If you're in motorsport, you're competitive. It's just in your nature, to be fair. But yeah, in regards to the podium position, it is slipping away. I mean, the win is certainly slipping away, lap after lap. Again, let's not say anything just yet. Anything can happen. Is this a little bit too hot into the corner, into Brooklands for Harry Wills? I think it may be. Yep, just a little bit too hot going into the corner. A little bit of damage on the back of Harry's car as well. It's not 100% sure why that is the case, but either way, the damage is there. Yeah, so podium's always nice. Soutag as well. He's going to want a podium, isn't he? I imagine he's going to want to continue a good performance going into this final round, and we just ticked over, actually, in fact, a few minutes over the halfway mark now, so 34 minutes left in this race, and then we'll be able to see who will come out on top in the respective classes. Looking back as well, just on Daniel Sedgley, he is continuing to pull away from Ryan Hamilton. Again, he's not worried too much, is he, I think, at this point? Yes, Daniel Gilding is pulling away a little bit. Last lap time for Daniel Gilding was a 1:59.6. Last lap time for Sedgley was a 1:51.9. Is he going to be worried? No. Because Ethan Bass that's in front of him, Cody Pride that's in front of him, and Gilding that's in front of him, are all well behind him in the championship standings. Several positions, several points as well. It's looking like 50 to 150 points behind. So realistically, not going to be the end of the world for Daniel Sedgley, and he's just running to just finish this race.
Yeah, as it stands at the moment in the Pro-Ams, it will be Daniel Sedgley winning the championship. Cody Pride will be taking home P2, and Will Richardson will be P3. Even Bass will just be missing out there by, I think it will probably be about 30 points or so. So that's the update on the Pro-Ams. And of course, with the pros, I mean, at the moment, as we were saying, it would be Alex Bennett, leading the way, and will be winning the championship with this drive. Start to see these gaps start to just spread out a little bit more now. Nedlick and Bennett are on their own. Horton and Huguenot are now working together. Well, not working together, now starting to lose them a bit. I wonder if that is Harley Horton unable to keep up with the pace and Huguenot not wanting to go, or vice versa. It looks like neither of them wants to go in there, and really Huguenot is just looking to just keep alive. If Huguenot stays where he is, he will guarantee himself a P3 in the championship overall, as he's standing P4 at the moment. So that may be what he wants to do. Doesn't want to go too aggressive with these moves. As you can just see there, he does go a little bit wide when he enters the loop down into entry, but nothing that you would want to worry about too much. He's still on the back there. He's 4/10 behind Harley Horton. He's saving fuel. He's just where he wants to be. And there in the background, you can just see Alex Gao 4.5 seconds behind. I don't want to say, because there's 31 minutes and some change, but it is starting to look more and more like I think this championship is slipping out the VRS Satellite drivers' hands.
Yeah, again, I don't want to say anything either, but yeah, it is certainly something that isn't. It's looking less and less likely, between every sort of single lap. Just notice the Zatag has had another incident. We're going to have a quick look at that as well, if we can. Johan Ass and Frederick Roy currently fighting over third place. They are teammates as well from the Team Slow Mo Super outfit. What has happened to Satahab? Oh, it's going into Magnussen Beckett. Is it going to be too much on the curb? No, just a rotation. Too snappy on the rotation.
That's crucial though, Daniel, because now Johan Assen would be tied third with Henning Haig. Actually, no, I'm just looking at it. No, I beg your pardon. No, that would be a tie. That would be a tie between Johan Assen and Henning Haig, and then that's the third place. That would go to tiebreakers, which I got to be honest, I haven't looked at those tiebreakers, but looking at it, that would actually go to Henning Haig on the tiebreaker, but due to the fact that Henning Haig's had a second place and Johan Assen hasn't. So while that would put Assen joint third, it would not give him the championship. He needs to get past Werner S. Not the championship, sorry, P3. He would need to get past Werner S, who's 5 seconds up the road. So that's going to be a tight one for him. But Henning Haig currently leading the wave. Like I said, if it stays here, he would get that P3 in the amateurs. Frederick Troy would still remain P2. And of course, Sauerhaug, after having his second mistake of the race, would stay in the be the champion, as we were saying. Now, this is Cody Pride having a little bit of a moment there. That looked like the car was twitching. That's gravel. That's gravel. You don't want to be there. He's gone a little bit too wide, and that has cost him a little bit. He's now 1.4 off the pace of Ethan Bass. Bit of a shame. He was enjoying the fuel saving there, and it's just not gone his way.
Not at the moment. No, very, very true. And as you say, that has come down now. So it is a lap. Well, as you say, it's now a second. Chris Addison is now come into the pits for a second pit stop. Seems to be quite early though. So that's a little bit of a strange one. I'm not entirely sure why Chaddison has come into the pits so early. Ryan Hamilton has had a coming together with Joachim Cohn. Let's have a quick look at what's happened here. This could be an interesting. Maybe this was the reason that why Chris Hansen came into the pit lane. I don't think it was. Is it just gonna? Oh, okay, there you go. There's the loss there, and I mean, to be fair, Cohn tried to avoid it as best he could, if I can actually get the words out of my mouth. and I think minimal damage there, to be honest. That was as recognised as early as possible, I think, in that sense. One of the trickiest corners to recognise that, especially if you're on like a single screen. That's really, really tricky because it may have even been out of his blind spot, in a blind spot for as it happened. Well avoided. That could have been a lot worse between that little incident there. Just having a look.
Could have been well avoided. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
It could have. Damage limitation, I think, is the best way to put it. I'm still not too sure why Chris Chadison has pitted so early for a second pit stop.
He's retired. He's back
out on circuit, I think. Is he not back out on circuit?
No, he has retired the car. So not entirely sure what has happened there. We'll dig into it. I'm just seeing him now. I just see him there. I think he's just retired the car full stop by the looks of it. So must be other reasons for that. Anyway, that does slightly alter what's happening in the championship, but not by a lot. You still got Cody Pride taking that P3. P2, and Will Richardson will be P3. Ethan Bass, he's having it. That's a spin. That's Frederick Droy. Is that Frederick Droy? It is. That was Frederick Droy just going off there. Everything changes again in the championship. Because now if Frederick Droy goes down, I mean, he's not in danger of losing positions. It just means it's one less person for Johan Assen to get by. Remember, Henny Hay will get 100 points. Werner S will get 95. Johan Assen will get 90. Not enough, though, for Johan Assen. He needs that P2, and he is starting to close the gap. Now, Frederick Droy there looked like he had a little bit of a moment there sliding. Again, it's a cold track, and you think cold track, grippy, fine. There are optimal areas where the tyres have just started to kick in there, and if you just overdrive the car over here, trying to take the corner where it's not meant to in these GT, that's when you start to see these spins. I've seen a few spins I didn't expect to see it at Stowe, for example, and also just around the starting area there down into Abbey and Farm and the village. So it's very interesting to see those slides happening. But I mean, that looked like that was at Woodcote, wasn't it? That was a very interesting slide there from Frederick Droy. Not a place you expect to see a car lose control.
Let's have a quick. This is going into Stowe. So
Stowe.
Yeah, may have just been. We'll see if we can watch it maybe for an onboard. Actually, I wonder, could that have been for a little bit too late of a turn in? Maybe. Yeah, a little bit too late. No, actually, tell a lie. Maybe a bit too sharp on the steering, I think, to be fair. Turning point may have been a fraction too late. So what happens is either, there's two things that can happen there in that sort of situation. Either what will happen is you'll turn in, and if you think, oh, hang on a minute, I need to turn in a bit aggressive, I need to turn in a bit more to get the car into the corner. If you have turned in a couple of meters later, what you're going to try and do is a very natural instinct to try and simply just turn more and to put the lock on, to put additional lock on. Now, the problem is what's happening is your weight is being transferred. The weight of the car is being transferred simply more as well. So you've got more weight being transferred. Sometimes the weight transfer happens even quicker. So that then promotes the rear to want to come around and want to slide. That looks to be what happened there. It almost looked like the line itself seemed to be a bit too wide. Although the front end, that BMW, I'll tell you what, that's got some front end on that car because that turned in. That has a lot of grip on the front of that car. I thought it was going to be simply just too late of a turn. The car would just understeer, but really good stuff. So that is probably what the cause of that was, I would imagine.
I think myself, I'm going to take that corner usually. I think I do like to try and get into the apex as early as possible there. It did feel like it was a little bit late for my liking, but other drivers, they like their own way of taking corners. It might have just been, like you said, just a little bit of overturning, just worked his way there. We do have one driver already in the pit. Nick Madsen has taken an early pit stop. That looks like him trying to get a jump on Alex Gow. Well, that would not be good for Alex Gow at the moment. But Bennett and Nedlick are currently on lap 25. They pitted lap 15. We're looking at 38 laps around here, maybe 37. It could be a little bit of a tight squeeze to get that last lap in. It'll be interesting to see. But at the moment, you can just see Bennett and Nedlet. They're going to keep going around again. There is another battle brewing at the moment as well. You can see in the relative, that is Ethan Bass and Cody Pride having to go. And in fact, Cody Pride just going to go for a move right here. Where else? It's the loop. And oh, look at that twitch. Look at that twitch there. That has cost him. He had the move done, but he just got a little bit too hot on the throttle. The back of that car just says no. That must have almost been a traction control just kicking in there. But the back was sliding. He had to back out of it. And that, after making all the work, throwing in a 159.9, all that work has just gone wrong there for him. That says to me he's getting ready to pit. We always say it, but when you make a move so aggressive at this stage of a fuel stint, that is a sign that you want to pit very soon.
Yeah, it's either you're going to try and make the move early, and you are going to try and pit and get that trap position going into the pit lane. I mean, to be fair, it seems to be quite early for a pit stop still. I wonder if there is going to be something a little bit. Again, look at how aggressive Cody Pride is going at the moment. Now, what may happen here is in these the final 10 minutes of this race, you may just see a massive drop off in time from Cody Pride. I've been in that situation before with driving and getting that car sort of like pushed in and really driving especially a Porsche aggressively, and it absolutely annihilates front tyres. If you drive the car too aggressively, it just annihilates them, and you will have a big problem coming the end of the race. I don't know, it just looks like the car is really, Cody Pride is working that Porsche hard, like really hard, and it's coping with it at the moment, to be fair. And again, the driving style from Cody Pride is certainly, he knows how to handle driving that car really deep into the corner. You'll see it again through here. A little bit earlier on the brakes then. It tries to have a bit of movement. Is it going to be up the inside? But I think it's going to be Ethan Bass may have the drive. No. So Cody Pride capitalised going into turn 4. And that was a very good, good move indeed. But Ethan Bass, look at that coming straight by. We know that the Ford is quicker. The Ford is a lot quicker actually going in a straight line, and we can see that Ethan Bass straight away just slips it back up the inside going through Brooklands. Is he going to be able to cut off through Luffield? No, he's not, because Cody Pride is there. They could not be any closer at this stage. They're only close. There'd be one car. Ethan Bass, good bit of movement on the outside. Fair play to Cody Pride for leaving the space, but Ethan Bass then just drives it around the outside of Luffield. So not only is that Ford fast in a straight line to the point where even a tow from Cody Pride wasn't able to catch the back of that Ford up, it's also really good in the corners.
It was indeed. I think a lot of that as well. You can see Cody Pryor. I think he got on the throttle a little bit too early at Brooklyn, because I noticed he had to use all of the exit runoff there to get before he got to Woodcock. So it really, Luffield, sorry, it really hampered the line he could take on the inside to defend against Ethan Bass. But then again, going around the outside to make a move there at Luffield is just, no matter what the guy on the inside does, is always impressive. Can Cody Pride make it again? You can see how late they actually make a touch. They make a touch, and look at the respect from Cody. Look at this respect from Cody. Daniel Gilding may say no, but you know what? That is respect. He realized it. He over pushed it, and he straight away he has apologized. And you can't see that, of course, but he has in the sim apologized. They both lose the lead to Daniel Gilding. Regardless, Cody Pride would not want to take that position the way he did, and that is respect. With 19 and a half minutes ago, that is some respect there from Cody Pride. Just a little tap on the back there. I'm surprised the car's turned around so much. Actually, really surprised how much it upset how the back of the car got upset there on the floor.
Yeah, so am I, to be fair. And I think we'll see if we can have a quick look at that as well. So. You just see, just the nudge. Just that little bit of a nudge. I just want to, sorry Cody, but I just want to see it one more time, just from your perspective. I mean, to be fair, if anything, I don't think it was really too much. I know Cody Pride went deep into the corner, but it almost looked, I don't think Cody Pride was actually expecting Ethan Bass to, I don't know, maybe Ethan Bass just went through Stowe a couple of kilometres an hour slower than what Cody Pride was expecting. It actually looked from the perspective of that. That's what it looked like to me. I could, again, it might not be true, and if you look at telemetry, it might say something completely different. Just from visually, it looked like that. So, again, as you say, great respect from Cody, and obviously just letting off and allowing Ethan Bass to continue going, even though that Daniel Gilding has inherited the lead. Although that gap now, it's now turned into a three-way battle. So Daniel Gilding's just gone, well, cheers, chaps, if you insist. And now off he goes. But the gap already has come down, and Ethan Bass is only about 6/10 behind. So, you know, Daniel Gilding has got his work cut out for him. Arguably, though, he's in a perfect position to maybe even just see if he can back up both Cody Pride and Ethan Bass and see if they can start fighting again. Although Cody Pride now does come into the pit lane. Ethan Bass does not. So Ethan Bass is going an additional lap.
So this says to me the pros are coming in next lap because Ethan was one of the only drivers other than the pros to pit on lap 15. So I reckon that's what we're going to see. Nedlick, Bennett, Horton, Huguenot, they're all coming around the old start-finish straight right now. So, yeah, that to me, I'm just thinking right now, we see all the pro-ams into the pits right now, apart from Ethan Bass. Actually, I'm just trying to check it out. Will Richardson also going in as well? No, Will Richardson, again, he does not pit. That's a lovely sight there through Magden Beckett. Seeing the two cars like that. That was beautiful to see the two groups of cars there going through. Daniel Gilding may get a little bit of a jump on Cody Pride in the pit lane. I don't think he will. I think Cody Pride, I'm keeping my eyes on that. Cody Pride does indeed get past Daniel Gilding, which to me says that that does say to me that Ethan Bass may inherit the lead again. We'll wait to see. Really curious to see if these pros are coming in this time. They are not. That is interesting. Is any of them coming in this time? No. Alex Gal may come in. And he doesn't come in either. So, I was thinking +1. I'm wrong. It's currently 3 o'clock sim time on the 1st of December. It is still 19 Celsius. The sun is starting to fade, which will give the drivers a few more shadows and a few more colder spots. But yeah, it's really interesting now. When do they pit? Surely with 16 minutes to go, they've got to pit this lap, surely.
I think they're going... I would imagine so. I would imagine they would start pitting now. Although, again, it's not 100%. It's not 100% guaranteed, but I imagine they would be pitting. Ethan Bass now comes into the pit lane. So he now comes into the pits, and he will be seeing if he can come out. I reckon he'll get the jump. Providing he gets a clean entry, and providing he gets a clean entry and clean exit out of the pits, into and out of the pit lane, I reckon we're going to see... Ethan Bass come out on that, currently inheriting the lead again.
Well, I'm keeping my eyes on it right now. Will Richardson hasn't yet to pit. I think he'll be coming in very shortly. No, he's going around again, so ignore it. Ethan Bass will be showing P2, but that's what he's not looking for. He's looking for wherever Cody Pride is, and Cody Pride's coming around the Veltricane right now. He'll come across the start-finish line down to the Lewis Hamilton straight any second now. Where is Ethan Bass? He's starting to roll out here. 4 seconds. It's now going down to 3 seconds. He crosses the pit exit cone. Does he have this? Does Ethan Bass have this? The gap is 1.5 seconds. It's going to be a second. Ethan Bass does indeed retake the lead after that little mistake there from Cody Pride letting him back. But again, it's a 3-car battle. And even Daniel Sedgley is almost going to try and stretch this and maybe make this a 4-car battle to finish the Pro-Ams. Now, the pros are all in. Bennett, Nedlick, Horton, Huguenot, Alex Gow comes in. Everybody now will be coming in apart from Will Richardson. I can't believe he's managed to make that BMW work so long. Regardless, he will have to pit. Are we going to see a jump in the pros is what I'm really curious about right now. I can't see Bennett losing the lead, but will Huguenot try and jump Harley Horton in the pits?
Possibly. I mean, it's certainly a... again, I don't know. Let's see. We've only got another 25-30 seconds, then we're going to be able to find out. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too much movement when it comes to his drivers.
Sorry, Nedlick's taking the lead.
Interesting stuff, which is interesting, very interesting actually, because of the fact they are teammates here, bear in mind. They're both from Medici Racing. Now, I'm just looking at where Nedlik is in the championship. Is Nedlik in a position where... No, he's not. I wonder, is there going to be team orders? Is there going to be team orders, and is Alex Bennett going to be let through? Either way, he's got the championship, I think, either way. It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, he's got the championship, but at the same time, they need to keep an eye on that position. They know Alex Gal, though. He's still 8-9 seconds behind them. He would need to make sure the gap was more than a car to get the championship. And at the moment, it's 2 cars? So, he does have that championship at the moment. But again, stranger things can happen. If that was me, I would have tried to make sure I kept the lead. So if there was a mistake, your team could probably help you back up. Regardless, he isn't doing that. So maybe Nedlik will just go and take it. By the way, we've only had 4 different winners this season. Can Nedlik be the 5th winner? Out of those is Alex Gow, Alex Bennett, it's Harley Horton, and it's Nicholas LaBeach. They're the only 4 winners at the Pro. So will Nedlik be the 5th winner in 5 races? That'd be a nice little stat to have that many races. And you can just see, I think Alex Bennett, he was looking, but I think at the moment this may just be those final positions. We'll keep an eye out. Harley Horton, by the way, was able to hold on to that battle with Huguenot, and Huguenot is starting to lose out. So that's one of the battles we're keeping on track at the moment, but it's not really that much of a battle because they are teammates. We've got that battle in the Pro-Hounds. Now, I was looking at Johan Assen. Just wanted to keep an eye on that because at one stage, that gap between Werner S and Johan Assen, we're just seeing Cody Pride at the moment. Now, what's happened here? This is Ethan Bass and Cody Pride battling again. That looks to me, it's going to be a tough move through the loop again. Now, that Ethan Bass is going to pull away. It is. And there we go. Here we go. Now we're live. Down the hanger straight. This Ford's built on something else, surely.
I have no idea what's in this car and what's in this Ford. I don't know what Ethan Bass is doing, but whatever he's doing, he's making it work. It is absolutely insane. Less than 10 minutes to go. Actually, I'm going to completely say that is absolute rubbish because there's not. There's about 12 minutes left to go.
You're it wrong again.
Wait, how long is there left to go?
11 minutes.
11 minutes, whatever it is. It's more than 10 minutes, by the way. Yeah, I don't know what Ethan Bass is running in that car, but it seems to be working for him, and it's working for him well. Just had a quick look as well. Inga Lapsin past Magna Yonland as well. This is a battle going into Brooklands. Nice, good move. And no real sort of answer from Magna Yonland. So that was another overtake that happened a couple of laps ago. Yeah, Cody Pride is pushing aggressively now. Daniel Gilding is just waiting in the wings. If he can wait for something, I mean, he's sitting there going, you guys crack on and have a repeat of what you did a couple of laps ago, and he's just going to sail on by. If he were to do that again, if that were to happen again, it's not going to make too much of a difference because Daniel Gilding will then have about a 7 or 8 second gap on the two there. So, but he's sitting in P3 and he's sitting comfortably in P3 at the moment now. He's got a 1.5 second gap to Daniel Sedgley, again, who isn't going to be too fussed at this point, is he? Let's be honest. He's just going to want to try and bring the car home in as tidy position as possible. If, again, these 3 start battling in these final 10 minutes that has now just ticked over, he's obviously going to want to get involved, absolutely. Is he going to want to get involved otherwise? No.
No, and Daniel Sedgley will just be happy to stay back there. He'll have the championship all wrapped up, and these drivers, they don't really have anything to battle for. Even Bass, really, it'd be an accident to Cody Pride if he's got any chance of making the podium. That's not what he wants to do, especially with Cody giving the respect that he did. Cody Pride is just trying to make sure he gets that P2 in the championship. Making a small mistake there, but he's able to just recover. Daniel Gilding tried to make a move into the Vel chicane. I'll tell you what, he's going to be battling this into the Vel chicane. Is he going to try and go around the outside or the inside to the Vel chicane? What a move by Daniel Gilding. The battle's still brewing on, though. This is going to allow Ethan Bass to just pull away. What moves does Cody Pride have at the moment? It's okay, though. It's okay for Cody Pride. They're going to be racing, definitely. And you know that. They're racers at heart. But the key thing is, it's whatever he does compared to Will Richardson that would be whatever Cody Pride wants. You can see Will Richardson is not there at the moment. He's down in P5, so he's able to just hold this. In fact, that's correct. That is a 21 second, almost 22 second gap between Cody Pride and Daniel Sedgley, Cody Pride on Will Richardson. Is he going to make a move down here on the Wellington Straight? He is going to look at this. It's going to be a tight move. He's not been left a lot of room. They almost come together. And Daniel Gilding with some very, very aggressive, but very good defending there. That's aggressive in a good term, of course. He does hold on to it. I mean, like I said, Cody Pride doesn't need to battle for this, but he's a racer at heart. He'll be wanting this, surely.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. Daniel Gilding, yeah, he was defending aggressively, but he was defending firm. He just kept the car on the inside and basically left it up to Cody Pride, where he said, well, if you want to go on the outside, you crack on. Go up the inside, you crack on, but not going to budge, which you don't have to do. A lot of people think you'd have to then, a lot of people, what they do is someone comes up the inside, then move out to the outside to try and take the normal racing line. You don't have to do that. You can just sit on that racing line. As long as you're not weaving, you have absolutely no obligation to do that. Although, that was a little bit wide, though, from Daniel Gilding. Could that have been a slowdown? I don't think it was. He would have backed off by now if it had been. Either way, that was very, very close. And that's arguably Daniel Sedgley. He is just there or thereabout. He's waiting in the wings. What happened there? I was looking at the timing tower.
That was Cody Pride going for a slide job there.
Oh.
Almost going 90 degrees there, holding on to it. Very good defense there. A save, sorry. Was able to hold on to it, but he's lost time. Daniel Gilding, and now he has spun! He's hit the sausage curb, but club! And this is all wrong right now. He holds on, though. I gotta calm myself down, because he's still ahead of Will Richardson, but he's lost 7 seconds to Will Richardson. Look at this. That's not how you ride. This isn't Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and that's not a 50-50 grind.
It's not, is it? Although, has Cody Pride just had another incident? No, he has. Sorry, I thought that was. I was going to get a little bit worried then. But no, nothing is. So Cody Pride, yeah, as you say, still has a good sort of 7-8 seconds on the gap between. Actually, sorry, it's a 13-second gap between himself and Will Richardson. So all he needs to do now is just crack on, just drive. I would probably be driving at about 80% here. I wouldn't be driving any more than that because you just need to bring the car home. Southaug is made up of a couple more positions. Arguably, this is a battle of a P4. So Simon Dodd versus Southaug. And Southaug seems to be, again, in a position I wouldn't be... Again, he doesn't need to, obviously. He's going to want to try and get another position. But P3 is well out of the cards. It's a 9-second gap between Johan Assen and Simon Dodd. Johan Assen is 1.6 seconds away from Werner S. Now, I know we said here about the last lap times. So Johan Assen took 2/10 off of Werner S in that last lap. Oh, it's not going to be enough at this rate. All right, certainly not going to be enough at this rate. Does it mean, though, and you mentioned this before, if Johan Assen passes Werner S, that would give him P3 rather than Henny Haig.
He's got to keep pushing, and that gap, you can see it go down, then it goes up, it goes down. Thankfully, with this live timer, we get it to 3 decimal place points, and it does help a lot. You can see where he's going a little bit deeper into the corners, and then where he's just losing out on the acceleration. You start to see it there. You can see it's just been hovering around that time, really, for the last 4 laps. Johan Assen, he got out the pits and he was almost on the back of Werner S, but he was unable to get into that slipstream range. And you can see that is what is happening at the moment. He's unable to, and that gap doesn't look a lot when you look at it down on that line. But when you come to the corner, that's the difference. When you get to an angled approach, you can start to see the difference, and it is really showing. He needs to just have a good moment. If you can start to get another 10th off, that'll be good. Let's see if he does a very good bell, because now look at the time. In fact, actually, that is live. Look at the time he's gained through Stowe down into the Bell chicane. He's gained a 10th, almost 2 tenths here. I'm really curious to see what the times are when they cross this line at the moment, because Werner S is going to throw a 201, 206, and Johan Assen a 201, 214. The gap has gone down to 1.4. If he can keep doing that, same type of reaction there, maybe. The only issue he's got is 10 seconds behind him is Martin Nedlick. So really, they're on lap 35 of 38? Not going to be. It's lap 35 of 37. He's only got 3 laps to do this. It's going to be tough.
It is going to be very, very tough indeed, as you say. Ryan Hamilton and Will Richardson are having a good old bit of a battle here. This is going to play nicely into the hands of Cody Pride. And is it going to be... Whoa! Will Richardson giving just about enough room for that Lamborghini and no more. But Ryan Hamilton, he's going to give it a go, though. Yes, he does. So Ryan Hamilton around the outside of Cops going into Maggers and Beckett manages to make that position. What a move indeed. This has now allowed the number 96 of Joachim Code to possibly have a bit of a look as well. I've noticed that Will Richardson has got some damage to take into consideration as well. That could certainly be costing him, and it is costing him down into Stoke Corner. Has a bit of a look to the inside of Ryan Hamilton. I don't think it's going to be too much. What's happened? Stuart Reynolds has had a bit of a spin, and Augusto Cassiami now goes up the inside. We haven't really been dealing much with the pros, unfortunately, but that is going to mean... Oh no!
Whoa!
Will Richardson, he's been caught up in a good contact. That was Augusto Cassiami. So Reynolds and Cassiami, you must have had it coming together. And Will Richardson was just drew the short straw on the positioning of the car. And that's it. Game over. Game over. There is nothing, touch wood, nothing's going to come out of that, unfortunately. Will Richardson is going to be absolutely kicking himself. But through no fault of his own, though.
Well, the key thing is now he must make sure he doesn't have a meatball. Here's the moment here with Cassiami. Did he just overcook it? Does he get a little bit of a tap? It's a tap, isn't it? Oh, I don't think he realised the driver was there.
Yeah, I think he turns in.
Nowhere for Richardson. Now, Will Richardson, like I said, he needs to make sure that's not a meatball. He needs to make sure that everything's okay, because otherwise he is in danger of losing P3 in the championship if he does not finish. He's going to have to keep this driving, even if it means he stays at the back. Sauhaug is still battling Simon Dodd. And yes, we haven't kept our eyes on Werner S and Johan Aston. Nothing's coming off that at the moment. These two drivers, they are about to hold up the pros. It's going to be hard, though. I mean, you can't really let anybody go when you come to this stage of the track. Now, are both of them going to just yield for this for the pros? I don't think so. This shouldn't pull anybody else in. Alex Gale can't really be thinking, great. And there you go. Netflix decides, you know what, I want to go. And fair play to Sauterhaug. He knows that is not his battle. And he pulled right off the racing line to let them by.
Simon
and
Dodd.
So does Simon Dodd. That is good respect by both drivers. The moment they knew it had to happen, they did it. They'll probably do the same thing after Maggott and Beckett for the other two drivers, but really good. And even more, they both keep back on this battle. That's actually, as much as I'm not a huge fan of pulling off the racing line to let a driver through, that was fantastically played by all four cars involved.
Yeah, well, then, really, no, you don't have to. I've been in positions where I have done it and I have let people by. I've been in other positions where I've not let people by. It doesn't need to be. It's certainly something you don't have to do. But yeah, I think in this, especially for Sauterhaug, like Sauterhaug knows he doesn't need to battle at the end of the day, and otherwise, the last thing he wants to do is to potentially have any more issues with that. Harley Hornton and Cass Huguenot are battling pretty aggressively here. I'm just having a look. Is this going to be? This is going to be next lap. Is the last lap? If we were to just have a quick look, because naturally it will be coming around the last corner. It's going to be close, and it's going to be very close. I think you're about 10 seconds in it, but there we go. Coming now onto the last lap.
Yeah, one last time for the championship. Martin Nedlick will lead them away with Alex Bennett there. So that little battle between Werner S and Johan Assen, they're going to go for another lap after this. That's going to be fun. So that we might get some late drama there for deciding. Look at the traffic at the moment that Horton and Huguenot have to go through, but they're making it as they continue through. They just got one more car to go around, and then that's it. And down to the straight they go. Some good battling here and good driving by all parties involved here. Maybe Huguenot will go for a move, and he was thinking about it. It'll be a late move now. The door's been closed. He cannot make it, but he is trying to make this stick. And again, he can't make any cutback work, but he's going to give it a go. He is going to give it a go down the old start-finish straight into Cops. Does he have to drive here on Harley Horton? It'll be a late move if he does it. I don't think it's going to happen at the moment, but if he pulls out to the side now, he thought about it, and he does not go for it. He's going to hold on. They've both taken off track. Well, that's a very wide off track by both drivers. Can he see anything in Maggott and Beckett? It's very hard in a GT to make a move here in Maggott and Beckett. He will not. Continues to push on. Meanwhile, at the front, Martin Nedlick is just on cruise control, and so is Bennett. Can Huguenot make any move up the straight? You can see Horton is going for the defense. He'll go for the defense, and this will be Huguenot trying to go around the outside of Stowe if he wants his P3. And you know what? Horton can't battle it. Horton cannot battle it. He's just going to leave it be. Now down the start-finish straight with the Vel chicane very shortly. Nedlick will hold off his teammate. In fact, where's Horton gone? I think Harley Horton's run out of fuel. But Martin Nedlick will take the home the win. And then behind him, his teammate, Alex Bennett, wins the championship. He is the Race Anywhere World Series Pro Champion. And behind him very shortly will be the amateur champion, already crowned, of Sauerhout.
Indeed, Sattar run out of fuel. Oh no, he's already come across the line. Sorry, yes, yep. Sattar does come across the line. He is the AM champion, as you can see there. So that is going to be something he is going to be very, very excited with, I am sure. Where is Henning Haig? He is coming round Luffield, so he's got about half a lap to go, and then he will be coming round. Where is Ethan Bass? Ethan Bass is coming through Stowe. Now, this is going to mean still that, correct me if I am wrong, Craig, but Daniel Sedgley will still maintain and will still become the Pro-Am champion, who is in third place. You can see a little bit few tenths behind, but Ethan Bass taking the final victory in Pro-Am. Fantastic stuff, and great to see that forward as well. But look at that, Daniel Sedgley, Pro-Am champion. What a drive. Didn't need to do anything at all, and he did exactly that. Cracked on. What more can you ask?
Very good driving there, and Cody Pride will take that P2 away from there. Here he goes, it is. And then I'm just trying to see what happened to Will Richardson. I think Will Richardson, of course, yeah, he is still down the order, but he comes across the line. He'll take third in the championship. Henning Haig will be the last man that we want to see tonight, and this is a very good victory for Henning Haig when he needed it, because he wanted to get on that podium. There were 7 drivers that could have got on that podium, and only one man takes that final spot. Frederick Droy does take home P2 in the championship, but Henning Haig will come home third in the championship with that victory, unless there is a late fireworks with Werner S. But I cannot see it as he crosses the line right now. So Henning Haig does indeed take home P3 in the championship. We finally have the championship all wrapped up. What a season it has been.
Certainly has indeed. We're going to be able to bring you the final results of this particular race. We'll have a quick catch up with some of the drivers, and then we will be calling it a day for the first season of the Race Anywhere World Series. Absolutely fantastic stuff, and something that I think we have both thoroughly enjoyed. And we're going to look at the Pro category first as it comes up on your screen now. So there we are. Martin Nedlick, Alex Bennett, Cass Huguenot are your top 3 with Alex Gow 4th, Harley Horton in 5th, Nick Madsen 6th, Stuart Reynolds in 7th, Augusto Cassiami in 8th, and then Harry Wills in P9. Your Pro-Am category, Ethan Bass, Daniel Gilding and Daniel Sedgley take your top 3 with Ryan Hamilton P4, Joachim Cohn in 5th, Will Richardson 6th, Cody Pride 7th, Chris Chatterton in P8, and then Svenja Matterson 37 laps down, unfortunately, in P9. And then your final results for the AM category, Henning Haig, Werner S and Johan Assen are the top 3 for you. Apologies for the top text. We can see that has been, for some reason, it's going back in time. Simon Doll 4th, Satag in 5th, Jonlund in 6th, Javoy in 7th, Lapstein in 8th, and then we have Edson Magera P9, and then D Timms, unfortunately, backing out with a couple of penalties, I believe, and not feeling too great in P10, 18 laps down. That is it.
That's it, and I'm just going to stall for a little bit of time because I'm sure somebody's going to jump in and be hello, and we'll just see if anyone does have anything. I've got to say that was a great little Silverstone race. I saw overtakes I didn't expect to see. I got to be brutally honest. Around the outside of the loop, that was one that was a bit weird. Some couple moves in the loop as well. Like I said, I'm more of a fan of overtaking at the village, an overtake in Stowe as well. Ryan Hamilton trying to go it in Cops as well. So nice little moves around the outside here. You don't see a lot of those, but they did pay off. I just saw Ethan Bass just pitting. Surely he'll be coming in for a talk like he usually does. We'll wait and see. But it's been fantastic. It has been a brilliant season here. And you know what? What better than to talk to the man that won the championship? Alex Bennett, Season 1 Race Anywhere Pro Champion. How does it feel?
Kind of relieved. Yeah, that was a pretty tough race, but we're helped massively by Alex Gal and validating and qualifying and starting from the back. So yeah, from there on, it was just it was really just about trying not to make any mistakes.
Yeah, I saw that there was no mistake there. I also saw that your teammate, I saw Martin, decided that he would overtake you into the pits. Was there any little talk between the two of you saying, "Come on, let me have this," or were you just going to let him just go on?
I mean, realistically, if we needed to for me to win the championship, he would have pulled over and let me through. But while it wasn't when it wasn't necessary for the championship, more than happy to just race. And Martin had a really, really good race. Managed to save fuel well and had solid pace the whole time. So yeah, congratulations to him. Well deserved win for him.
So of course that puts you on 3 wins for the championship as well. Alex as well also had 3 championships, but it's been a very solid season for you. Is there any highlight of the season you can think of, apart from winning the championship? Of course, is there any highlight that you can remember that you're proud of the championship?
I think the moment for me was the final lap of Le Mans with me and Martin overtaking Alex. That was probably the highlight.
God, yeah, I can remember that now. Wow, that was really, really nice. I mean, I usually ask people what we're going to expect for you from next week. There is no next week. I mean, what's next? What's next for Alex Bennett now? It's no more GT3 heat on a Wednesday night. So what's next for you? I guess we'll probably see you next season, mate. Hopefully, but is it going to be a bit of a rest for you now on a Wednesday night?
Yeah, I don't know. I got a couple weeks off, so I think I'll just take a break and then sort of kick into doing endurance stuff early on next year. But yeah, definitely taking a break, I think.
Well, Alex, once again, congratulations. The floor is yours to give any shout outs you want, because I'm sure there's a load of sponsors you want to give some shout outs to, and we shall give you the floor for that right now.
Just want to say thanks to my teammates, Martin and Cass, who did a phenomenal job this season. I think we got the constructors locked up as well, so really, really happy with that. And also sort of thanks to Alex Gal, who raced really well, and sort of commiserations for him on the championship. I mean, he did an excellent job all season long. This is a very, very tough sort of final round for him. So yeah, it's been a pleasure racing them, and also thanks to you guys for the broadcasts all season. They've really been excellent. You guys have done a fantastic job of covering all the classes. So yeah, thanks to you.
Thank you very much, Alex. And once again, congratulations. I'm sure you can go home now. You can go and have a rest now and celebrate. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the pro champion for season 1 of the Race Anywhere World Series, Alex Bennett. Hope you have a good evening, Alex, and enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you.
Well, Daniel, wow, what a season it's been. What a season. I mean, every race, the quality of racing just got better and better. And the moment Alex just said to me that at Le Mans, it just takes me back. I just remember that vividly in my head. It was fantastic. In fact, actually, once again, I'm trying to kill time. I'm trying to finish up, and Ethan Bass here. Let's just bring him in. Ethan, I was just wrapping up, but I thought I'd just bring you in because there's one thing me and Daniel have been asking ourselves during that race. What on earth is in that Ford? Because you were pulling away on the straight from Cody Pride. What on earth is going on?
What's going on? I think we've got different lines through Maggots and Becca's onto this hangar straight. And I just noticed it when I was following him in the early laps. I'm like, that's an interesting kind of line. Because I'm sacrificing the first parts just to get a better run down hangar.
Yeah, I was quite surprised at that. I'm going to be brutally honest. And also, I must admit, one thing that I do want to point out, Ethan, that moment at Stowe. First of all, nice save. And in fact, I thought we were just seeing that for a moment on the replay, but no, we're not. No, it was a very nice save, but surely you owe Cody a drink or two after giving the position back.
Yeah, that was. it was a case of, I think, because of the AM, I might have unsighted myself and slowing down a bit too much. But yeah, I'm surprised as myself I held that. It's a case of, I've only got a G29, but you could do that with a G29.
You can do that in a G29 in a Ford. That should be off the pace, but I mean, it didn't hinder you. You managed to keep the victory. Once again, it was just some fantastic driving for you, and I think that did put you. I just gotta look, because I think that it also put you on. Well, that was your first win at the championship of the season, of course. That put you on the list. It's been coming, hasn't it? I think that's one that you're happy about. I know you've missed out on the podium, but I think you can say that you're very you're pleased to take that forward across the line and get a victory.
Yeah, I didn't do myself any favour the earlier part of the championship losing points, so I don't think it's going to be a third in Pro-Am this season, but I'm happy enough to get the win. I just kept doing it myself in. There was no one else that I had to blame for not getting the wins earlier. The pace was there at Spa, the pace was there at probably Daytona, the pace was there at Imola, the pace was just there at most tracks this season, so it was just a case of putting it all together, and thankfully I myself didn't make the big error tonight, so thankfully, yeah, and I will have to say thanks to Cody for the sportsmanship of not taking that position. Could easily have taken it and taken a nice little win to cap off the season, but it's good sportsmanship from him. It was really good racing with him. I'm surprised, like, the battling was so close and kind of side by side for a lot of laps, and I'm surprised he didn't just catch back up and just absolutely like blow past me, because he's definitely like one of the fastest drivers in Pro-Am.
Yeah, well, it was some good racing by both of you. It was some very respectable racing. It was great for all of us to see. It was absolutely fantastic. Ethan, you'll be the last man for the season, so we'll let you have the floor and just give some shout outs, and then we will let you go on your way. And you'll be the last man. Have the honor of being the last person to do this.
Last person to have the honor, and hopefully I'll get more wins next season. That won't just be the only and first. So I have to say thanks to TechSense, Rainbow Demon Tweaks, Fight Color Cancer, Majors Garage, and Sim3D as part of the championship for running this. Thanks to Fitstyle team for letting me run a brilliant paint on such an amazing car. It kind of gives me the attention. I love to race this car, and I love the fact that the lads gave me such a good paint and they don't tell me I'm not allowed to drive such a Ford. Thanks very much to you lads for the broadcast. Now, and eagerly enjoy watching that back later, as I have all season. You guys have done a great job.
Well, thank you very much, Ethan. Ethan, congratulations on the victory, and hopefully we will see you next season for more action in that Ford. It's always just a pleasure to see you. So all the best, and hopefully we see you next season, Ethan.
Thanks very much, lads. I hope to be back, and hopefully I get more than just one victory a season.
All the best, Ethan. Well, that is it for the season. It's been fantastic, as I said earlier. Thank you, everybody, for paying their time to come and watch us and watch this fantastic league and the broadcast. If you like what you see, of course, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Every little helps as we continue our climb. If you want more, because the World Series is over, but from the makers of the World Series is the Race Anywhere Porsche Championship, European and America, as they are now on week 3 next Tuesday. Every Tuesday night you'll see the Porsche Cup, and also sign-ups for the Americas race of the GT3. I think they're calling it the World Series NA now. I'm not sure. We'll wait and see what they're calling it now. But the Americas one, the sign-ups are there, so do get a hold of us. We can send you into the right directions, or of course you can always check it out on the World Series, which the website is provided underneath. Shout out, of course, to Race Anywhere for once again being the sponsor of the championship. They have been a great sponsor, and it is fantastic to see another fledgling company coming through, and of course always give them a check out for all your needs for sim racing. I want to thank Daniel once again for the first season we have done together, and I think it's safe to say that we have given you a fantastic product that you've been able to watch this great racing. So from to Daniel, it's thank you, and I know he'll be able to say thank you as well, but unfortunately his throat has gone. And thank you once again to everybody watching on the stream. We will be back soon. Don't worry, we will be back soon, and we will let you know when the World Series comes around again for Europe. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe. I hope to see you out on the track, and have a good holiday.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing. all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.